This is Divya. Uh, I am working here as a community specialist at Uplers, and with us, we are privileged to have Hariharan. Uh, he's working at Iris Software Group as an HR director, and he brings over 19 plus years of experience and empowers individuals through innovation, change management, and a growth mindset. So let's give a warm welcome to Hariharan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. It's quite an interesting opportunity for me as well to meet all of you and then have a chat. Thank you to the technology medium, which gives us these kind of interesting opportunities. And when Uplers reached out, I was quite surprised. Oh, really? An organization wants to talk about it because a very different topic, very different idea and whom they want to target and hi Shubham, I think people are saying hi to me. So I really appreciate each one of you for sparing your time. I'm sure I will make try to make it best, make it more interesting for you, and an opportunity for all of us to learn from each other, and an opportunity for all of us to probably share ideas, because I'm sure there are some best practices that even you guys can share, and that's the whole idea. So let's see how we need to take it forward. But thank you, Plus, for coming up with this nice opportunity, nice forum, and connecting. Plus also at 7 o'clock, people are able to spend time on learning, spend time on knowledge sharing. That shows that technology medium is and technology industry is growing in India. So quite surprising and very refreshing to be part of this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, before diving into the agenda, I'd like to share a little about our initiatives, which we are doing currently. So, at Uplers, our mission is to simplify the process of hiring and getting hired, making it seamless and efficient for everyone. So, through our remote evaluation series, we have hosted leaders from renowned companies like Twilio, GitLab Atlassian, Airbnb, and many more. And these sessions provide a behind the scenes look at how companies operate and their strategies they use to hire the best talents, and how professionals like you can thrive in a remote first environment. So you can find the recordings of these insightful sessions on our YouTube channel. This time we are majorly focusing upon how to secure a tech job at leading product based companies. Our goal is to equip you guys with the knowledge and skills to stand out in the competitive hiring processes. So, here going on to the agenda, Hariharan will start by sharing his inspiring journey with us, giving us a glimpse into his role as Director HR at Iris Software Group. He'll talk about the unique culture that defines Iris and how they navigate the challenges of remote work. Next, we'll delve into the hiring process and the culture, values, um, and the interview process at Iris. So, moving ahead, without further delay, let's get started. Welcome, Hariharan. To kick things off, could you share a bit about your career journey and your role at Iris Software Group?
Sure. Only when we sit and pen down, these kind of opportunities sometimes make you feel that how special your journey has been, right? Special in the sense I started my career with a technology company, a technology giant like TCS, where most of the freshers, technology freshers, or most of the college freshers will get an opportunity to start with. So I was fortunate enough to do that in 2005, and I've been part of a technology journey where laptop is given only for managers and above. People will be able to work from home. We have never heard about it. I might sound very old when I say all this, but this in the last 19, 20 years, there are so many things that have changed, which made us feel that, oh my God, what a journey, right? I started with a desktop kind of a world, and then you work. And once you finish your work, when you go back home, you don't have an opportunity to go back, learn, or connect with the organization. There is no mobiles where you have Outlook on the mobile or your emails on the mobile. And then I moved on to Oracle Corporation. I worked with them briefly. Then I got an opportunity to work with a multinational like Capgemini. I was heading their HR for Chennai and Bangalore, which was before the iGate acquisition. So it was Capgemini Financial Services. And then, I did a longer stint with Aspire Systems, where I joined their India HR and then moved to Poland. I was living in Poland for a good stint of 3+ years, and then handling India and Europe operations, and then joined Iris. Currently, I head the India head for Iris Software. Iris is actually a product company which we will talk about. But what is more interesting is when you work for different culture, different industry things, especially from a global aspects, it gives you a varied learning in terms of how employment, how technology is looked at, and how job market is in different places, and how people aspire, what they want, what makes them happy. So that's how probably my journey has been, and it's been a very, very rewarding journey, thanks to all my mentors, all my teachers who helped me to be where we are. Probably you could see some rewards, because sometimes you go back to the industry and check, hey, am I on the right path? Sometimes these recognitions helps us to realize that, okay, things are going on the right track with respect to what I contribute back to HR as an industry. So that's about me. Probably the next slide so that I can, take it
Great.
forward from there.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And I'm sure our participants for the session today would love to have your insights on the hiring process, jobs, and the other things that you'll be talking about. Anyways, coming back to our agenda, in today's fast paced world, securing a remote job has become a goal for many professionals, but turning that dream into reality requires understanding what truly catches a recruiter's eye. What key skills can set you apart and enhance your chance of landing the role? So, Hariharan, could you share some valuable insights and actionable tips that candidates should focus on before applying for their next big opportunity?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, if I look at it before pandemic, after pandemic, pandemic was a problem for a lot of people. Personally, and all of us have gone through a lot of, ups and downs in our life. Pandemic has given that. But from an industry perspective, if you look at it, pandemic has created loads of opportunities. We've never thought about remote jobs, especially in India, with a very, conservative mindset and approach that we had, but this has opened up so much window. Having said that, when we moved to a remote job, I think we were really not preparing ourselves as an industry, as organizations, as candidates. Okay, how do I work? How do I approach? Right. So now that it's been 2+ years, I think we are all in a matured level. And you were talking about saying that people are interested to have a remote job, but I would say from an organization, that's the order of the day. There are organizations which are asking people to come to office. Even we have set of people, but those are essential roles where we need to. Wherever we think that no, somebody can work from anywhere, like we have colleagues in Gurgaon, we have colleagues in Bangalore, Hyderabad, we have office only in Chennai, but we are able to work across India. Job has helped. So now, when we go back, we expect the candidates to have a matured approach when it comes to these remote jobs. How are they understanding? Because this concept is not new anymore. It's a proven concept, and a lot of them have become veterans in it. So the candidates will also need to have certain basics. I thought probably I'll take this opportunity to talk about some of these things. What is very important is, like, can you master the remote work basics, in the sense, are you really aware that how it works, right? In the sense, your connect with your managers are not going to be over a cup of coffee or a tea. You might not have those chat times which we used to probably help them to understand what kind of person are you, right? So you need to prove everything through this Zoom tile, or this Microsoft Teams style. So this is my size and this is the space I have. I can have nice background like what you have. Yeah, probably today I will sit with a background like a sofa and a plant behind me, or suddenly I'll sit back with a background as mountains and all that. But do I really have a space that creates me? Do I really share that to my organization saying that, hey, I am ready for a very flexible and skills that are required to do a remote job? Only when as an organization, as a recruiter, the person gets that confidence saying, okay, this person knows what is expected out of a remote job. That's when, that's the first step they take. And then they say, okay, fine, I can start working with them because I don't have to sit and explain basics to this person, right? So that's the first step, I would say. And if you go to the next one, where we talk about technical readiness, I'll give you a very classic example. So we had this meeting scheduled at 7, and then I need to join at around 6:50 is what that was told to me. But I joined at 6:30 for a simple reason that you never know what happens, right? And as I expected, Zoom was installing updates. It was restarting. Then I need to check with my IT guy whether this is okay, because we don't use Zoom here. We use Teams. So I need to get some, approvals for that. All that preparatory things that I need to do before, before getting into it. And am I really putting that efforts? Because sometimes when we go for an interview, the candidate join at least 2, 3 minutes late, shows whether they are not interested or they are taking this as one of the opportunity. Sometimes they joining through mobiles, doesn't create that professional impact. Professional impact, earlier, I think you all will agree, we used to talk about dress code when you go for an interview, how what kind of dress code you need to wear, what kind of color combinations you can wear, all that. Now everything is gone, right? It's just that, okay, am I really showing my professionalism by being there on time, being ready with the tools and platforms that I'm going to use for the interview? Am I really taking that effort to be there and tell them that, hey, I consider this process serious? If I don't feel that, then that's the second step, I would say, where we get little confused, or this goes for, okay, is it this candidate or some other candidate? This might look very very small for you, but for the person, uh, immediately starting an interview with a sorry, saying that, hey, my laptop was not working, sorry, it was going through an update, sorry, there is no charge, or sorry, Zoom is not working, or pinging the recruiter and say, hey, can I connect through some other Google Meet, is that okay? So all that shows that there is no readiness. And if there is no readiness, not just for the interview but for the job as well, that's how it is considered at a wider audience level. And the next one that I want to talk about is, you need to showcase whether you have a self management. The reason is that you're not going to work with a manager in person, right? So you might not be able to go back to that person and ask for even smaller doubts. So it all depends on what level of career you are. If you are going to be with someone who's like 5, 6+ years of experience, probably you might be really ready because you know your subject and you will be able to at least do things that are basic. So when you are coming with those experience, because in IT industry alone, we have this interesting thing, right? When you ask somebody what is your experience, they won't say 2 years, 3 years. They will say 2.3, 2.4, because every month counts in IT industry. Having said that, that experience should be showcased. What are all the things that you have done independently? Have you taken a project which you have done completely? How do you manage your time? How do you plan it? Because nobody is going to monitor. There is no in time, there is no out time. It's a trust based industry when it comes to remote jobs. So end of the day, there are certain things that are assigned to you and you are going to deliver. But during interview, what we check is, have you done something like that? If you have a previous experience, or if you have right examples to tell them that how you manage yourself and your work and your deliverables, well, that will be a big, big tick mark. And that makes them feel that fine, then he will be able to, I don't have to do a micromanagement, or I don't have to sit next to them and then keep checking, have they logged in, do they do this? Because these are the things that stands out, right? As a fourth step, if I look at it, be genuine, guys. See, it's a very difficult thing even for a recruiter, based on the profile they share, based on the details that a candidate share. As an organization, we also take that risk and say, fine, let's offer this job to this person, because I'm sure with this 45 minutes of conversation or two rounds of interview of half an hour, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, with 1.5 hours, we are deciding that this journey could be for few years. So when we are making that decision, I'm sure that's the same thing for the candidate as well. But the more authentic it is, the more genuine it is going to be. And are they able to paraphrase it and then communicate clearly? Because communication, your diction, your language are the only things to take your points across, especially in a remote interview. If you're going to be in person, sometimes your body language, people used to talk about gestures, postures, you're sitting, you're leaning front, or no, all that has gone. All that has gone. Whatever we have studied in our HR subjects, whatever we used to teach as soft skills, all that have gone now. Now it's just your communication, your authenticity in the information, how genuine you are, and how much you are able to communicate that. Even if you think that, okay, I made the statement, this was okay, this could have been better, those kind of things, if you think that you want to paraphrase it, communicate back again clearly, please take that time. Do not expect them to come back saying that, can you come again? You need to be clear. Did I communicate what I'm supposed to in the manner that has to reach? That's what effective communication is all about. It's not about accent, it's not about English language, all that. That is always there, but we are all Indians. I'm sure all of us have that as an area that all of us keep improving, and none of us are like, like a Westerner kind of a language, and we don't expect anybody to talk in any country accent for sure. Even if we have colleagues from other countries who are taking interviews, they don't, but they expect a clear communication for which you need to spend some time. And that is what actually is expected out of this. Is a very, very important step that you need to do, and it has to be genuine. And the next one, if you look at it, according to me, how are you preparing your environment? In the sense, all of us understand. I don't know how many of you have traveled outside of India. When I used to live in, outside of India, especially in Europe, which is a culture there, the house will have a working zone. They will, each house, when you go rent it, there will be a corner which will have a table, chair, and a plug point nearby, because remote working is their nature for a very long time. Not just for technology industry, even in other industries, people do that sometimes. People take contract work, people take freelancing work, and all that. So from a culture perspective, from an infrastructure perspective, from an environment perspective, those things are there. Whereas for us, we don't have that space, right? So when we take an interview, sometimes we take it in our bedrooms, we sit on the floor, have a small table, and then put our laptop and keep it ready. Whatever it may be, it need not be fancy. But have you put in some effort to make that environment in a right fashion? Because we have seen sometimes where when candidates are taking interview, people used to run. They don't even sometimes inform their parents. So mom will bring coffee, she will ask for dinner. So and those things sometimes makes them feeling embarrassed. I won't say it is wrong, because sometimes I had experiences where I used to interview candidates, and then the kid will come, then the parent will be like, go away kind of actions and all that. But just to make it very comfortable, we used to call the kid also and say, hey, why don't you join? And then we have few conversations with them, probably for a couple of minutes. By the time, they will be okay and their excitement is over, so they will move out. But that might not happen every time, right? Especially if you are in a very critical things. Like, for example, it could be even the kind of background. Can it be white background, blur? If you are going to do it blur, is it okay? And if you are going to have your charger connected, wire, everything is properly set up so that your workspace is comfortable, professional, and no distraction, so that you will be free to concentrate, focus for the next 40-45 minutes. That's the fifth step, I would say. And if I look at the next one, see, this is your responsibility. I'm sure recruiters will ask right questions because that's their job, and they need to select, especially when they are going to see 20-25 candidates minimum for a profile, for a role. They need to write down feedback and then come back to the hiring manager and say, hey, this is why I feel this person is shortlisted and not this person, all that. But it is important for the individual to engage in a relevant manner. Okay, for example, if you are going to connect with people from a specific company, then are you asking the questions that are relevant for them? Are you asking questions that are relevant for the level of people whom you are getting interviewed for by? For example, if the person is going to be a technical recruiter, the person is a hardcore program manager, then talking to them about benefits and talking to them about salary, talking to them about compensation or work timing or food in the cafeteria, or rather if it is going to be a remote job, then holiday benefit, all that might not be relevant because you need to reserve certain things to either to the management or to the HR person whom you are going to meet. But to the person whom you are going to, are you talking about the technology? Are you talking about the learning opportunities? And then, asking them on any specific areas that you want to know about the domain or the product or the client. I think those things will be important. And you should also have a very strong positive end to the interview. It's not just thank you kind of a thing. I'm saying what kind of impact you create. And that has to be a very well rehearsed, practiced. Naturally, certain people will be very good at engaging over a call, but certain people might get difficult, might find it difficult. In fact, I get surprised when people join without even switching on the video. And you need to even ask them, hey, can you switch on the video? Which is like, okay, they are not interested, because when you go for a meeting to a person in person, you will not go like this, right? Obviously, you will meet the person face to face, and so having your video open and then have asking the right questions to the right person, all that is very much important to make that impact during your interviews, because that's when they will believe that, okay, this guy is going to be somewhere and this is the kind of conversation I'm going to have. I'm going to meet him only a day for half an hour for a meeting or stand up or something like that. But I will be able to get right questions from him. He will be able to raise hands for the right things, right problems, and we will be able to work in a much more relevant fashion. So that is where it is. And the next one, if you look at it, is what kind of organization you're going to join. So I thought probably I will also take this opportunity to tell you about Iris as an organization. I don't know how many of you heard about Iris Software, because it's a product company predominantly in UK. The reason is that their market is a UK market, and now we are expanding in other regions. But we have been in the industry for 45 years. And in India, we have been in the industry for about 20 plus years. But we cater to a very specific market, which is on the accounting, on the payroll, or on the education softwares. And, we deal with that for the last 45 years, and we have customers across the globe, and we are expanding heavily on the UK. What is interesting about Iris is that Iris is an end-to-end organization. I have people who are on the core product development technology guys, the technology, high-end technology guys, because we've been acquiring a lot of organizations in the last 7 years. I'm sure we would have done close to about 30 plus acquisitions. So we acquire smaller organizations and do a lot of consolidation. When we do these acquisition, each of these company will come with their own products. So the technology guys will also do heavily on migrations, on integrations. And these are very unique domain specific softwares, whether it is accounting, whether it is education, whether it is payroll. These are unique domains, right? So the person will also get heavily on the domain knowledge, and they will be able to understand that domain end to end, especially from a UK region or European region, and they will be able to add value to their product based on that. The next one, please.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing about that.
Yeah.
So, knowing about the company is really important, because whenever we go to any interview, it shows that we are well prepared when we know about the company. And it is equally important to know about the core values and the culture of the company. So I think we can move to the next slides. And Hariharan, it would be great if you can share about the culture and values.
Sure. Why we want to cover this, or personally why I felt this is important, is that, see, it's organization is like family, and knowing the right space where you are going to work for, what kind of organization you are going to work for, then it is important to see whether there is a relevance. And culture plays a very important role. What they focus on, what is it in for you, what is it in for me, what am I going to get, compensation, benefits, all that is one part of it. But over and above, you're also going to invest your career, then what is it in return for you? Some of the things that we focus on as a culture is that, we strongly believe in upskilling and reskilling, because our technology keeps changing. When we move on to a new product, or when we, upgrade it or update it based on the technology needs from the industry, and we don't believe in, keep hiring people with new skills again and again, which is important. But at the same time, we also believe in upskilling and reskilling our colleagues and give them more opportunities again and again. So there will be a continuous learning journey that will be part of it. And it is also that, okay, while we are learning, are we really rewarding that? Are we, recognizing that? So it has to be part of it, right? So we do rewarding or recognition in two ways. One is an ongoing things. But what is more important is there are various global forums which we take, and then we celebrate success. We don't celebrate success internally, we also celebrate success outside by giving back to society, because we believe that, that's our responsibility. So there is a huge focus on CSR, and there is a huge focus on diversity as well, because we have, people across different genders, including third genders, who are working with us, because it is important that we give opportunity to everyone and call ourselves truly as an equal opportunity employer. And when we are talking about these softer sides, there needs to be a formal process as well. So there is a high potential program, and we focus heavily on high potential program. We identify these stars every year, and we put them through a program. They meet different leaders. They have a chat with them, including our exco, including our CEOs, and then talk to them and understand their journey and what is expected out of them. Plus, whenever there are some, senior opportunities that are coming up in the funnel, then we want to first promote internally, see whether we can identify those people internally first. And then, if that is not working out, then we can go to the higher next model. This makes people to feel that, fine, I have a career here. I don't just have a job. There is loads of difference between job and a career, right? Job just gives you money, but career gives you a journey, and career gives you growth. So we take all these aspects as part of our culture, as part of our day-to-day initiatives, which makes us to, say, grow in the industry and also contribute back to the society in a right fashion. And when we look at our values, um, these are our core values. We call it as impact. A very interesting way to look at it, because these are not just values for, like, innovation, make it happen, passion. This is how awards are also given. If somebody is getting a rewards and somebody is getting a recognition, which value they contributed for which the manager is recognizing them for an award. And we question them saying, okay, what kind of thing? Is it for the accountability, or are you recognizing this person for customer focus? What kind of customer focus? What is that value addition that they've done? Plus, when we come up with any new initiative or any policy, what that new initiative or policy targeting on? Is it for promoting innovation, or is it promoting passion? What is that focusing on? Only when we know that, then it'll be easy for us to see, how much we can, leverage it, because it has to be global. Especially when you grow, it has to be global, it has to apply across, it has to cut across. So we take all these things into account, and then, take it forward. So this is our core value. Predominantly all our initiatives are around this, and we are so proud that, because when people grow, their learning career will also have things like, for example, there is a program called Managing with Impact, and there is a program called Leading with Impact. So when somebody is going to be a manager, they need to do with Managing with Impact. There is a course curriculum, they need to finish it, and then they do basics on all six, and then they get certified internally. Then they get ready, and then after some time, when they become a director level, then they go through leading with impact, which will be like collection of about 15-20 people across the globe meeting for 4 or 5 days and go through a very formal, rigorous, coaching session so that they will be leaders for tomorrow. So there is a conscious effort that goes on in the entire journey.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing the core values and the culture at Iris Software Group. So, let's move to the next slide, which talks about the interview process. And also, before we start with this slide, I would request people to add their questions in the chat box, whatever they have till now with the interview process as well. We'll pick it at the last. There are people who are sending DM to me. I'll like encourage you guys to ask more questions. So over to you, Hariharan.
So we have a very simple, straightforward interview process because, candidates also want sometimes just one round of discussion and then they want the final decision, which is what even the hiring manager want. But it depends on the level we are hiring. When we hire a fresh graduate, obviously they'll go through an online or a written test because it's a process of rejection. When we have three positions and then 500 people applying for it, plus the best shortlisting happens there. But after that, there will be a technical discussions with the hiring manager, whether it's a domain based or a technology based or a role based. The technical discussion will be a very detailed one. It will be at least for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, where there will be questions on their previous experience, relevance, and what is their interest area, and then their career aspirations. Everything will be discussed with the hiring manager in detail. And then, there will be some assignments or code reviews depending on the role. For example, when we hire a business role, then we might even give them role plays. We give them some business cases where they need to solve. Sometimes we ask them to come up with a presentation on their own topic to check if it is going to be a front ending role. Whereas if it is going to be a technology thing, then it could be um, you know it could be that it could be probably a code review kind of a thing, or an online based discussions where there will be tools which we share it with them and then they share their solutions for the problems that we show. So it could be of anything depending on the role. But this is a very interesting thing because sometimes you feel that fine, this is where I lag or this is where I do really good and I need to improve myself on this. So that is how it is. And finally there will be a discussion with the department head, and with senior roles, it could be with even exco members along with the HR. And then, they will be able to get through the process. Sometimes it could be a combination where even technical discussions will have step 3 as well, or it could be an individual step depending on the hiring manager, depending on the role.
Great. Thank you for sharing the interview process. And I'm sure people here might be thinking if there are some open roles at Iris so that they can apply for it. So let's go to the next slide, which is active jobs and passive jobs. So active jobs are the ones which are currently open on the website, and the passive ones are that ones which might be available after a few days or a quarter or so. So over to you, Hariharan.
Yeah. So as I said, we are a product development company. So ours is predominantly on the product development side. At the same time, that product also has an implementation. It has an IT support, everything. So currently we are looking for these four. See, I didn't bring my other support roles like customer support or BPO to this because the target audience is a technology audience. So currently we are looking for IT support guys who will be working for our IT support with clients on the products that we have implemented. Plus we are hiring NetSuite developers. This is mid and senior roles, which is like at least 5 to 6 years of experience. And then we also hire Salesforce developers. This keeps happening because Salesforce is the thing. And especially when you work for a product company where you license your product and sell it to the client, Salesforce play a very important role. So we hire again mid-level, like 4+ years, and even senior levels. We have openings for even senior Salesforce developers, and we recently closed one principal architect level also, plus full stack developer We have both .NET and the cloud-based full stack roles. We have some openings already available on our career page. You can go and see for all the active jobs. Passive jobs are like, role based, which keeps opening when there is a need, because these are like planned ones. The active jobs are planned ones, and currently we are hiring people for that. Passive jobs are like, when we have something that is there in the pipeline planned for automated QA engineers. And then we also have people for customer operations. Then we also have openings for data analyst.
Great. So for the people who find anything relevant for them, they can just go on and apply for the same. So with this, we come to the end of this presentation, and thank you so much for sharing all these valuable insights. So now let's open the floor for a Q&A. And okay, so I have a question which is from my end. So, as you already shared that you have very good years of experience with working with big companies. So, any advice you would like to share, which like the job seekers should mention in their resume, or any things which should work for them to prepare an apt resume for any job role?
Okay, see, most of the companies have started using AI-based tools to screen resumes. At least at a bigger organizations, they are already there. So your resume should have the right skills highlighted. So you need to go through the JD in detail. Sometimes what I see is that people apply the job just by seeing the heading. What they don't understand is what is a developer role in one company might not be a developer role in the other company. They might still, you call it as a developer. So just by clicking and then apply might not make your profile stand out. Instead, you need to prepare it in the right fashion. You need to capture the right set of skills and experience, which will make them feel that fine, this is the order and this is what the match is going to be. And it's a quite a strenuous role for a recruiter. So to make it more interesting and easier, plus, if you're also going to have a quick highlight in the first half a page of it, instead of capturing your personal details or your interest, hobbies, all that, you can push it at the end. But predominantly capturing things like your mobile number, email, this is all needed if they are going to be interested. But after that, it should talk about your current company, what you are doing, and what is your experience, instead of a very detailed one, your overall experience in a small table or something. After that, for each organization, you can explain, because it's like Google, right? When you go and search in Google, you will not go all 10 pages of results that comes. Probably in first 1 or 2 pages, you might be happy. So if they are going to screen through, then this might be helpful.
Thank you for answering that. So we have a question which is, what are the best ways of finding remote jobs apart from applying at various job portal?
uh, you need to start using LinkedIn. You need to start not just job portals in LinkedIn, but there are technology groups in LinkedIn. If you're going to be part of it, you might get updates on that. Plus, if you have some specific organizations, please start following their career pages also regularly. In fact, if you register there, and then if you ask for a notification, you might be getting emails, because that is important. Plus, reference makes a big difference, because reference also helps you to find the right organization and the organization to find you. So just by applying 50 jobs, 60 jobs might not be helpful. Instead, if you spend quality time on what kind of jobs that you need, to what kind of organization do you want, an IT services, or you want a product, or you want a startup, or you want a big organization, you want a consulting. This selection is also equally important. I'm sure this might not be the possibility for a fresh graduate, because for them any job to kickstart their career is important. But after some time, when you gain experience, when you shift in, compensation can't be a deciding factor for you to select a job. Instead, that should be the last thing, but there are various other factors. So you need to identify organizations and start searching their career pages.
Great. So we have a question. What strategies do you recommend for continuous learning and staying ahead in the tech industry?
You need to be updated with the industry. There are a lot of e-learning platforms that are available. As I said, again, technology groups in LinkedIn or any tech, social groups that are there where they share. And then, you need to, because beyond a point, it's just self-learning. Classroom learnings will be over. Certifications will be really helpful. And, certifications, relevant certifications. For example, if you are going to be into a project management kind of a role, a PMP certification, or if you want to upgrade or move to a different, technology, then doing relevant certifications will be helpful. But that will not decide whether you are the right person or not. But it will help you to learn, right? And it could be anything. There are so many learning platforms that are available. See, you need to invest your time, you need to invest your sometimes money, because organizations will not have a classroom training, especially on the technology front. And learning from mentors will also be equally important. And reading articles, reading blogs. There are small blogs, quick blogs that are available. There are even audio books that are available, which you can quickly go through when you're driving, and you will be able to. That's how I do, because sometimes I might not find time to sit and read a book. So I move to an Audible and then put that book there and then travel. And every day I travel for about 2-3 hours to office. So that 3 hours is a learning for me. So you invest through various mediums, and mediums are available now.
Absolutely. So, we have another question. In current situation, LinkedIn is the best way to apply for the job because the a single job has like 100 people are applying to it for just a single job. So what's your views on it?
See, sometimes you really don't know whether all 100 people are relevant. So don't get worried when you go and apply. The moment you apply, in fact, when they advertise, within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it will say 100 job applications. It doesn't mean that all 100 are relevant. That's why I said you need to have your relevant skills updated in the resume properly, because they use AI or they use methodologies to filter and then select. So if you think that you need to be on the top 5 or 10 percentile for people to select your resumes and have a conversation, then you need to have relevant resume. And LinkedIn, I wouldn't agree that LinkedIn is the best way to apply, but LinkedIn is a very popular way to apply. Earlier it used to be different mediums, even, Uplers are doing it. There are other job portals which are doing it. But we consider LinkedIn as a very high-end medium, but sometimes it's a simple job market, and they also do the same thing.
Yeah, totally. So, there is another question, which is what are the best ways to cultivate meaningful connections and use mentorship to accelerate our career and get interview calls?
See, if you're going to do that just to get interview calls, it'll be a very artificial way, right? It has to be a natural way. Even in your existing role, what kind of people whom you're connecting with, from whom you can learn. Are you identifying the right mentor who can guide you right things? Sometimes we get carried away with what industry means. We really don't know whether there is something called market. We all believe that there is a market. We don't know where is that market. It's a very artificially created market. And then we get carried away when somebody comes and tell us that, hey, I got this job, this is what it is. But what really they do, varies. So you need to just find the right people who will help you, guide you through that. And getting a call for the job is different completely. If you're going to do that for this, then that's a very artificial networking, right? And that might not put you at the right places. But being part of right forums and being part of right networking is important. There are a lot of technology events that are happening in India. Please go and attend. There are a lot of online events like this. Please attend, because you might get different perspectives, different ideologies, and different thought process. And that will help you clarify things. And when you apply it next time, you will be able to see, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I clicking the right apply button?
Yes. So we have another question, which is, or are there any emerging technologies or methodologies gaining traction in the IT industry?
Cybersecurity is gaining a lot of attention. Data analytics is gaining a lot of attention. AI and ML is a very hype thing, right? But sometimes when business comes to me and say that, hey, we need an AI developer with 7, 8 years of experience, I need to go back and say that AI has not been in the industry for 7, 8 years. How will you get somebody? So, those are reality checks, but it is improving because a lot of organizations, including us, are moving to AI based. But why cybersecurity is because countries like Europe, which has GDPR, and then there are a lot of other countries which have come up with their own data security related things. These jobs are taking a huge importance in the industry, and it's going to be part of the job market, and it can attract a lot of outsourcing because it's not a mass role, it's a very class role, right? So you need to be really a specialist there to stay there. So cybersecurity, data analyst, analytics, AI, all these things are coming up really fast. And then technical writing is a very big market that is picking up as well.
Great. So, with the continuation with the previous questions, we have another question. Will AI make any difference to IT industry jobs?
Absolutely. How many of us are, even WhatsApp, we are using chat GPT, right? If we want to write something, even to our managers, when we write, sometimes when I get resignation letters, that will have a chat GPT format. So but what it is used for is important, in the sense what kind of usage. One is it's going to make the job more effective, and it's going to become more quality driven because the basics are taken care. So you need to drive, you need to give high-end solutions. Plus, it should not be the obvious. So you need to work on innovation. You need to be out of the box. And this box has become much bigger now because of artificial intelligence. So if you need to think out of the box, then you need to really jump really out of bigger box. So for that, you need to do a lot of learning. But artificial intelligence is going to be the thing. It's not that there's going to be a robot sitting next to you and then work. It's not that. But there are a lot of things that might get robotic. And there are a lot of things, for example, a level one customer support, which used to be a big market, could be something that where people can talk to a chat bot, and if they still have, then they will reach out to a human being only for a level two, and technical support will only become level three. So that kind of one level up will happen through artificial intelligence.
Right. So, we have another question. What kind of research should I do about the company before going to an interview?
Very important is you should know what is their core job. And second, what is their domain they are operating? Is that domain interesting for you? Right? In the sense, your technology role also depends on the domain. Banking means it's heavily on the data driven, on the security driven. Healthcare means you need to know the subject, you need to know sometimes the terminologies. Whereas if you are going to work for an insurance, then you need to know about the insurance industry, how claim works, what I do in this entire puzzle, in this entire wheel, what is my role, how am I going to impact. So you need to know the industry for sure. You need to know the organization for sure. And you need to know whether you will be suitable there. Will you be happy there? Because some people want a smaller setup and a very impactful role. Some people want a bigger setup and a learning role. So what do you want? Do you want to be part of a brand? Do you want to take risk being part of a startup? Do you want to be part of a global organization or an Indian organization? There are so many things. So you should know what kind of organization they are. And comparing it with another organization is a blunder, because it can't be an apple to apple comparison. Each organization function its own way. So when you go for an interview, please don't compare your previous organization with that organization. That will not make you happy. So understand the organization as they are.
Great, thanks for answering that. Which is the best platform for learning AI and which language is most used for that?
See, there are, AI, we are going for only certified candidates at this point of time. The reason is, the reason is even the organizations are not are not like, having those things. For example, when we say chat GPT 4.0, or whether it is going to be any other things like, TensorFlow or Google Cloud, whatever may be the platform, if you are going to look at it, is it relevant for the organization? Because if you are going to get certified on one thing and the organization is using something else, even for different products, different things, then it might not be right. I would say that you need to have an idea of different things, but having a basic AI certification from a renowned institute will help you to have your basics strong. Especially most of the AI, people who are getting certified AI are already in some technology. So they are switching, thinking that, okay, this is a happening thing, let me get into, which is a fantastic step. But when they are doing it, they are also investing and they are also taking a risk because they are getting into a new platform. Right. So, having an idea of different platforms will be helpful. I would say that Amazon is doing a great thing when it comes to, SageMaker, and then Microsoft Azure, you all know that is happening, and a lot of people are getting opportunities on Azure. So it depends on the organization. If an organization is an Microsoft driven, then they might continue with Azure because it comes as a package. But if they want to have standalone things, probably they might go to a Google, or they might go to Tensor, or they might go to Amazon.
Great. So we have another question. What skills or certifications do you recommend focusing on for staying relevant in the future?
See, relevance is, first of all, you need to decide what do you want. Sometimes we see this confusion with the candidates. um, they want something that gives them that gives them job, but they don't understand that this is not just about job. How are you creating a career? For example, if I look at it as a HR person, it takes time for me to invest. Am I going to be a recruiter? Am I going to be a HR specialist? Am I going to be a person who takes care of HR operations? These are different platforms, right? These are different, like technologies, these are different streams. And for me to try and do things, I need to first decide, I need to decide what kind of specialization I'm going to take. There is nothing wrong that, there is nothing wrong for you to test and try. But if you're going to keep changing, then you also need to start the wheel again. So see whether, you know, you're able to stick on to something. And then sometimes when you get into the organization, sometimes the organization will move you to a different platform. They might upskill you. And then you can see, fine, this is where I need to, or you see an opportunity there, you go and do it. But if you keep doing things, then sometimes you get confused. And you don't know which path. Are you going to be a developer? Are you going to be a tester? Are you going to be a data person? Are you going to be a research person? What do you want to do? I think that is something, at least after 5, 6 years of career, you need to decide.
Right. So another question. How to move ahead from generic role to specialized role like computer science, machine learning, or AI?
Sometimes, see, for fresh graduates, if you look at it, we don't hire them based on certifications because, at least in IRIS, because certifications helps us as an entry ticket. But they will not be able to come, and they will not be able to come and start doing things from day one. We need to put them through a regular classroom training in the organization as well to teach them the relevance. So, these certifications will help you to understand, okay, what I could do. And then it will be different. I'm sure some of the friends who are there in the call, if they are going to be experienced, they know really very well that what they started versus what they are doing now. Sometimes they will be like, hey, I'm supposed to be a full stack developer, but I'm doing only a, release management, or I'm doing only a small updates on the product because that's the need at that point of time, right? Even if you are certified on something. But what it helps is that, okay, when there are other opportunities that are coming in the organization, let me try, applying for it, or let me reach out to the right people and say that, hey, I have relevant knowledge on it. Can I come and contribute? So that's how it helps.
Great. So we have another question. What is the scope of database administrator role in current and future in IT industry?
Database administrators, currently, whatever is opportunities that are available going to continue, but more and more automations coming up, and then more and more cloud-based things coming up. The challenges will be different. It will not be simple. It is not going to be just a basic administration, but it will involve analytics as well. And then, it will also involve things which will um, which will make them to move beyond and contribute more value addition to the customer. Just by DBA, they will not be able to have a long-term career. It will help them for first few years, but they need to specialize. And but whatever opportunities that are currently available, or people who are doing those roles, there is no threat as such. But if you look at the future might not have that many jobs on DBA. Instead, the advanced technologies will take over for sure.
Great. Thanks for answering that. Let's pick the last question for today. As
Sure.
you're coming from an HR background, how should we negotiate with the interviewer or
That's
and
the secret. So if I tell you that, then it'll be difficult. But I would say that, see, it has to be. You also need to see what is the market average. Okay, no employee in my 19-20 years of experience have raised their hand and say that, hey, you are paying me more. No employee in my career. So compensation is a very big thing. But what you need to see is, are you getting into a job where you are paid beyond the market, which might sometimes lock you? You're getting it? In the sense, when you are too much away from the market, you might feel high about it, saying that, hey, I'm the best paid. But what happens is, you might not like the job all the time. And after a year or so, you don't like it and you want to apply in the market, you're already on the higher side. Your chances of getting another job will become lesser because people can't even pay your current salary. So, and every time this 20% or 30% jump, people will also see whether there is a relevance, because job hopping is one thing that HR or recruiters see, and then they see how frequent it has been and what kind of increase they've got in each of these jobs. Okay, sometimes somebody is getting a 7-8 year experienced person is getting 30 lakhs or 25, 28 lakhs kind of a CTC. It might sound fantastic, but after all that experience, after some time, it will touch the ceiling. So how are you going to prolong your career? Because your career needs to be longer, and no organization can keep providing more and more on the compensation, right? Because customers will also look at cost cutting, companies will also look at revenue making. So it might hit the ceiling somewhere, and that might create a bigger challenge. So instead, if you're going to be in line with the market, then people will be able to appreciate it, people will be able to see the relevance, and then they will be able to negotiate on the right front. Plus, please also look at benefits. Some of the softer benefits are more interesting, especially on the remote jobs. Companies are giving fitness related benefits. Companies are giving mental health related benefits. Those things are very important. Health insurance related benefits, those things are very important, along with compensation, because sometimes people don't look at all that. They will only look at you know they will only look at the comp.
great. Thank you so much. And with this, we can.
Probably, if you don't mind, I will answer this question because this is very interesting. Do you recommend having multiple offers for better job negotiation when you are looking for a change? It's a ethical question, right? It all depends on your independent values. There is no right or wrong, because obviously these things are not in control of a HR or a candidate. It all depends on the individual, what they want, what is driving them, what is driving their career. There is nothing wrong, I would say, but at the same time, are you going to be fair when somebody is accepting the offer? How professional and ethical they are going to be throughout that notice period journey and stick on to that, or still there are other things which is driving them? You can take multiple offers, but when you make a decision, please stick on to that if there is a commitment, then stick on to the commitment. That's a very selfish answer that I want to give. That's why I picked up that question.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your insights have been truly inspiring, and we are so grateful for your time and knowledge you have shared with us today. And uh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the interesting conversation, and thank you for this opportunity. It's a great opportunity for all of us to learn, because I personally believe that knowledge is the only thing that you can keep sharing and then still you have enough. So you can reach out to me if you want through my LinkedIn profile or wherever we get to connect. But best wishes to all the participants. Really appreciate all their interesting questions and their aspirational thoughts that they want to share. We truly appreciate all that. And thanks, Uplers, once again for this fantastic opportunity, and looking forward to work with each one of you.
Oh, great. So, for our joiners, we have some upcoming steps to participate in future such insightful sessions. Be sure to register on Uplers. Our website features numerous job roles posted by various companies, and to apply to the jobs for Iris, you can go to their career page and apply for the relevant roles. And for the people who are not a part of our Discord community, you can join through the link I have shared, and we'll keep on uh, designing such great sessions for you guys. Looking forward for you guys to join our other sessions as well. Thank you so much for your presence, and we really appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, and bye all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.